So, welcome again to another edition of It Takes Two. Myself, Hugh, back at the helm, and this week I'm joined by Marilyn Thompson, my friend, who is a intimacy coach and also a counseling undergrad. And today we'll be exploring the different communication styles between men and women. But first of all, I want to welcome Marilyn to the It Takes Two set. How you doing, Marilyn?
Hi, I'm fine. Doing good.
Finally get the conversation put together because we've been discussing, and I know you're like super busy. So I appreciate you dropping by, spending the time. So trying to get the most of the opportunity to discuss this really important topic, because communication is at the heart of relationships, right? And it's a bit of a cliche, people don't communicate, but the question is, how do they communicate? Are they communicating but not communicating in a way where the other person's really understanding? So there's been an article written in Psych Central by a researcher, and he argues like about 5 different ways that men and women communicate kind of differently. But from even before we get to the article, your perception, your views from the work you've done as an intimacy coach, as a student of counseling, and maybe even girlfriend tea and talk. How do you see it? What's the deal in terms of men and women?
For me, it's about life experiences. So I put it down to, I think it's about your life experiences, how you were raised, how you've seen communication work within your family, the communication that you've had around you as a child. Because if you don't know how to communicate, you won't know how to communicate. Do you see what I mean?
How it's modeled. We see things modeled, right, as children.
Yeah.
And then we kind of like emulate that, for better or for worse at times, right? It's like a computer sucking stuff up, yeah?
Yeah. So I think it does matter. I mean, you've got the average roadman, as they say. How would they communicate? If they're communicating with their guys on road, is that how they're going to communicate with their woman at home? You see what I mean? And you've got a guy now that's not a roadman, and he might be in touch with his feminine side. So he knows he knows how to communicate with a woman. He knows that a woman's a bit sensitive, so to tap around certain things to get the communication flowing, or to just simply listen to her and understand what she's saying and engage in conversation. So yeah, it has a lot to do with life experiences for me, I think, and what I've heard. And to be honest, my own personal experiences, it's definitely, you either taught it or you're not. Like, you either know it or you just don't.
But it's interesting, you say something about the roadman, yeah? Because there's a piece of work coming out of America by a doctor called Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, right? He talks about the whole Black American experience. And although we're not in America, we're in the UK, but it's interesting because some things there's kind of like archetypes to men.
Yes,
and I think that we've got quite a few equivalents in the UK. So we've got the kind of roadman equivalent. We've got the sweet boy or the baller equivalent. We've got the guy that is upwardly mobile, and he works in the city, or he's over at Canary Wharf, and he's got his qualifications, and he's about his money in a legal sense. And you've got the old man who's always trying to buy favors from young women or soliciting young women when he's past the day. So there's these different archetypes that he speaks about. And like, I see them in London. I see them in the UK, in the Black community. So you talked about the roadman. And then you said, but you can use an alternative, or it might be somebody that's in touch with his feminine side. So what's good then? Is the roadman just pure alpha, or has he got some?
You've got some roadmen. They're not really roadmen, but they kind of are roadmen. It's a bit. Some of them are very in touch with their feminine side. What you see outside is not how they are inside the home.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, you see what I mean? They could be like, oh yeah. So how the roadmen may portray themselves to their friends is definitely not how they portray themselves at home with their missus. I mean, some of them might be, but some of them are definitely not. It's different. It's what's outside. It's their way of doing things. and the way that they are outside is not necessarily the way they are inside the home with their woman. Well, not all the time.
That makes sense because at the end of the day, we're multi-layered as human beings, right? And just like we communicate in certain environments, how I might talk and carry myself in a corporate setting is not going to be the same as if I buck up my friends on the street corner, or I'm just kicking it with my guys, or it depends on who from my circle I'm with. The frequency is different, so we can communicate on these different frequencies. But I want to get back to the sensitivity, because there's this thing going on about maybe that. All right, men in general, in the mainstream society, the whole society, men in general don't communicate as well as women, or as much as maybe women would like. And then there's this also argument that black men don't share their feelings. That's why there's all this whole thing about mental health and black men not being able to talk about, whether it's prostate cancer or whether it's mental health is okay not to be okay. We're kind of like, maybe the black man's imprisoned in this tough image, right? That, all right, still,
Yeah.
And a man of very few words. But what's your thoughts about that in terms of like relationships? How does that play out?
Well, from experiences that I've had within coaching, there is a lot where women will say, he doesn't talk to me. Why doesn't he talk to you? He's going through. If you know your partner, you know there's something wrong. That's what I always say. If you know your partner, you'll know there's something wrong. Your gut feeling will tell you there's something wrong. So if he's acting out of source and you've asked him what's wrong, he might just say nothing. He might just not say anything. But you will know there's something wrong. So, and if you know how your man is, you'll know how to approach him with certain things. You'll know how to get him to talk, or give him some space. If you keep going on at him, he's never going to tell you how it is. It depends how, like I said, you have to know your partner in order for you to engage in a conversation with them. If you come at them in a certain way, you know your partner's going to shut down. If you know your partner is going through something, you'll feel it. So you have to tap into that a little bit. Like, okay, he's not sleeping properly. We're in the bed together, he's tossing and turning. He doesn't usually toss and turn. So there obviously is something bothering him. And it's not just a dream. Do you see what I mean? So you have to, but as a woman in a relationship with a man that is going through something, how are you gonna find out what it is? You have to open up that floor. He has to feel comfortable to speak. Men find it hard to speak about their feelings, about what they're going through.
Comfortable. That's the buzzword right now. That's the key word for me, right? Comfortable, because from my side of the fence, in terms of talking to whether it's clients or just when people come to me for advice, right? But there is this fear amongst many men, but particularly black men, or caution, right, about being vulnerable in front of their significant other, out of the fear of, if I expose this softer side, this underbelly, right? It's all good and well now, but relationships have their up and downs, right?
Of course.
And my fear is, whether it's unspoken and articulate, or when I read this in between the lines when I hear people speaking, right? It's like they're saying, my fear is, it's all good and well me being real with her and being open and being vulnerable, right? Now in peace times, when I need that support, right? But I'm not really sure how it's going to play out too tough when when we have a little bit of a disagreement, and some women, they have a lot of words. They can be a little bit good with the word game when it comes to chastising a man, or I'm trying to put it nicely. Like, do you get where I'm coming from? Like,
of course. I
that fear of it is what I've shared now going to be thrown in my face at a later date. Is she going to cash this check when business is not good with us? Is she going to cash that check? And that is a real issue that we need to look at in terms of maybe men being able to open up that fear.
And it depends what woman.
Can I trust this person? Not trust her in terms of infidelity, but can I trust her with sensitive stuff that she might try and crack my wig with it, so to speak, down the road.
And when you say sensitive stuff, though, what sort of sensitive stuff do you mean?
Like anything to do. When I say sensitive, I'm going to use the word insecurity.
Okay.
It might be an insecurity. It could be something to do with something simple as Do you know that I really struggle with my even something as basic as like, you know what, I've always had a problem with reading and writing, and I'm thinking about doing the adult course, but I feel a bit funny. It's a big ask, or I got this bad relationship with my, but there's something, everybody's got their skeleton or that thing that I'm about, but nobody's perfect.
Again, I'll say it again.
You know, A-listers on 100 million a year or whatever, even they ain't perfect, they're human. When they go toilet, it smells like everybody else. So we're just human on this thing, but yeah, I'm talking about the phone. So when I say vulnerability, I'm just saying that thing where they're insecure around, whatever it is. Again,
though, it all depends on the partner that you have. Because if your partner is actually listening to you and actually cares about you, if you share something that's so deep and then you're a person that doesn't share, they'll take that on board, and the empathy that they'll have for you, they won't throw that back in your face. They just won't. It depends. Again, how strong is the relationship? If it's a petty little relationship and it's just about sex, and you want to get really intimate and tell your partner some really deep things about you, is she really your partner? Is he really your partner? Do you see what I mean? Is she going to care? Do you even care? Do you know what I mean? You have to know before you share such like deep information with someone. Are they really for you, or is this a superficial relationship?
Okay. Interested. So let's go there a little deeper. What do you think about this then, in terms of actual even communication styles, right? Do you think that men and women are socialized differently, right? So women are more equipped to be better on this word game thing in terms of verbally expressing themselves, because we're always communicating. Like I give you an example. Like you said before, the woman would know. As a woman, she would know if something's wrong with her man, because she might ask that, sweetie, what's up? And he's none. But there's a flatness in the way that he says what he says, or his avoidance of making eye contact with her, or some things that make her know, nah, something ain't right. So there's still a communication taking place. But I'm talking about clarity. Are we socialized differently as men and women, do you think, in society to communicate differently? Because I think if we are, there may be some problems or some challenges that we need to look at.
I think we are, but again, it's about how can I put it? It's the do you understand what is being communicated? Women will say how they feel. Some women will say how they feel. 100%. Some women just won't. It's just like, oh no, I can't. He's not going to get it anyway, so let me just leave it. But that says the men, yeah, I'm cool. So many times I'm cool. What's cool?
Yeah. Is that offence? Is that
that's the coping mechanism.
Oh, danger! Keep up. Do not cross this boundary.
Yeah. I'm cool. Just leave it. Like, but are you cool? Because you don't seem cool. Your whole body language is tense, and you're just, I'm cool. Yeah. Or you've got some real good actors out there, and they're just like, yeah, I'm cool. But you're not cool. So if you say, "How are you today?" Like, how you feeling, babe? Yeah, cool. What's cool? Like, what? You ask a woman, how you feeling? Oh God, I've got a headache today. This has been happening, that guy might just shut down. But if a guy is quite open, you get another guy now who's quite open. You say, what's that? Well, how are you feeling today? Yeah, I'm all right. Bit rough at work this morning, but yeah, it kind of evened it. And then they want to talk about things. You've got the talkers and you ain't got the talkers. You've got the ones that want to express and you have the ones that don't want to express.
So this is what I'm interested in now. In terms of long-term commitment towards marriage, right? Solid relationships, yeah. How does the communication work out when people meet? For example, you're an intimacy coach, so people meet, men and women meet. We're talking heterosexual, just to keep the conversation simple, right?
Yeah.
Man and woman meet, right? And they start dating, or they start seeing each other, or whatever the terminology is, yeah. But then there's a certain stage, right, of this meeting and dating and kicking it and whatever that. If it's not like a situation where somebody's proposed, somebody's accepted, and these two are getting married, they're a married couple. That's one kind of relationship in itself. That's kind of there's a level of clarity. But there's another way that people are spending a lot of time together around each other? Is like them there and them not there? Are they dating? Is this what is it? What is this relationship nowadays? What's the word they use? They talk about in these American movies now. Are they exclusive? There's all these different types of complexity.
Relations, yeah.
Do people feel like if they want to broach that subject, does one party feel a bit more vulnerable? No, I'm going to look a bit needy. I'm going to look a bit thirsty. No, I can't really do that. I'm not really going out. I do feel this way about this person, but I'm not really going to, I don't want to be the first. Or the vice versa is, maybe it could be that the man is happy because, you know, you don't necessarily buy a cow if you're getting milk, right? But the woman is feeling a little bit like, yo, I wouldn't mind. In fact, I would really like this to be formal and, you know, on a certain level. But it's not spoken. And maybe there's some tension around
words.
Yeah, there's some tension around that. Because one party is kind of like, this is, hey, it's all right, isn't it? And another party is feeling a little bit, I'm feeling like I'm getting robbed. I'm kind of investing a bit here, or I've got more to lose. I've got a biological clock, etc. What's your thoughts about that?
Again, when you're going into a relationship, you have to know what you want. If you want sex, just say you want sex. You'll never know. The other person might just give you sex without anything happening afterwards. Like you just have some casual sex. However, what I hear a lot of is it's gone in as a casual sex thing and somebody's caught feelings somewhere along the line. Either it's the woman that's caught feelings or the man has caught the feelings. However, no one has said anything. So now one's now got expectations that this guy that they've been seeing should now be acting like husband material because she's been acting like wifey material. Now there's no conversations been taking place, but
no clarity. He just thinks she's nice. He just thinks she's a winner. Like I'm onto a winner.
This is great. Yeah, he's on a win. He's happy. He's living his best life basically for free. However,
he's living that kind of life. Like when you see a friend, you say, "Right, what's good, G?" And he spots you in a certain way. There's a different energy to it. Like,
everything's great.
Hey, is he wearing Nike Air, or is he was walking on air? That he's talking like in that sense.
Yeah, he's happy. He's like, there's nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. Cash, right? But the simple fact is, he's living like that because he's gone into the relationship with this person, and he's still in the same. He's feeling the same way. But it's just getting better and better and better because he didn't expect it to be this good. However, now, on the other side, someone's caught feelings. Most times it's the women, but I'm hearing a lot more of the men catching feelings. So this is a bit...
Is that right?
Yeah. So...
Break it down.
So for the women now, she's caught feelings and she's like, she wants to have a relationship with somebody. She wants to have a relationship with this person. But she hasn't told him. Her expectations are expecting him to know that she wants a relationship. It's where the arguments kick in because now he's not acting like her man because he's not. You went in for casual sex. It's great sex, but you're not doing too much together, innit? You're doing like husband and wife shit together. So it's like, it's not really a relationship. However, have that conversation, but no one's having that conversation. Everyone's just expecting. He, on the other side, he has done, and I can honestly say, sometimes women put a lot of pressure on them, on the man, to understand what they mean, but when they haven't said anything, then get upset with the man because the man does not understand what she's saying. But you haven't said anything. So if he doesn't know, like, you know, this has been going for a while, you just cash. You know, you could not just, you don't have to sit down and have, no, we need to talk. You could just, you know, cash. Do you know what? This has been going really well. And I'd like us to see each other a little bit. Like, just a normal conversation. No one's having it. So then the conversation and the communication breaks down. It's not even there, to be honest. And the relationship now is breaking down and no one knows why. He doesn't understand why she's starting to act funny. Because
so she started pulled back because she thinks, well, I've made it clear and he ain't responded, but really,
but what have you made clear?
It's clear as mud. It's clear as mud. Yeah. In his mind, like another woman looking from outside would know what's going on. But but men don't always speak womanese. They don't always speak.
They're oblivious to what is actually happening. Some of them, it's like, but could you not see that she's no? Because she does everything. Yeah. She'll cook, she'll do this, we'll go out, we'll spend lots of time together. So does she want a relationship? No, it's cash. Like, is it though? Like, and she's all right to be cash? And then they'll have an argument and they'll be like, I don't know why she's getting so angry about this. Because she wants more than this. This is a bit more now. It's not just a casual thing for her. She's now got feelings. She now wants you as her man. Yeah, but she ain't said anything. And that's the problem. You haven't said anything.
Men are from Mars and women are from Venus, right? And I think this is where the challenge comes in, because men don't. If men expect women to communicate like men, in one sense, we're kind of deluded because women just don't. In it, like if you say, for example, as a man, oh, your wife brings up a problem or brings up some sort. She starts talking about something that sounds like an issue. You might start interjecting and say, "Have you thought about this? Have you thought of, because why don't you?" And she's going to explode on you because she really wants to do a helicopter lap around the block and just talk about her feelings. And she's kind of working it out on the spin.
Some women, though.
Well, all right, many women, though. Many women. Numerous women. Lots of women.
Isn't many?
And then, but as in, like, men tend to be like more problem solvers. So when they're interjecting, they're thinking, "No, you come to me because there's an issue. You want me to fix it." But sometimes a woman's talking about things to kind of work out just by speaking. I just want you to listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the man's interjecting with solutions, or he's thinking like, "What's wrong with her? I'm on her side. Why's she getting vexed or complaining that I'm cutting her when she was the one that came to me with a crisis? I thought you were the answer." So there is a Venus and a Mars
just want to vent. Sometimes women just want to vent, but don't want anything. You just sit there and listen to it. But as you know your partner, you will know what this is. If you've been in a relationship with someone for quite some time, you know how they're going to come at things. You know how they are. Okay, he's going to go off on a tangent now. Let him just sit with him for a minute. Let him just get on with that. Okay, when he's calmed down, then, you know what I mean, have that conversation. All right, let her get it all off her chest, because clearly she's got a lot going on today. Let her just get it off her chest. And then just sometimes all a woman wants, or all a man wants, is just a hug. Baby, it's going to be all right. Just something subtle. Not the whole strip down, then it's like a war zone because one person ain't being heard or that person thinks that someone said something different, and then it's just, you're just at each other. Because nothing's going to get resolved. And you're not even going to have makeup sex at that stage because it's a mess. Do you know what I mean? So...
And that's the next story, because that makeup sex, some people unconsciously, I think, create conflict, because if the makeup sex is so good, unconsciously they will create mini crises, just because it ends with a crescendo. That's
the question. How much makeup sex can you actually have before you realise this ain't working?
It's kind of like, this is more it's doing more damage than it is assisting. Yeah.
Because if you have makeup sex on Monday, then you argue by Wednesday, that's the next makeup sex, and then you argue again on Friday. How much? That's makeup sex is like, an argument shouldn't be every 5 minutes. Otherwise, there is obviously something wrong. It's supposed to be happy. Checking in all the time. Communication is key. That's all I always say. Communication is key. You have to find out how the other person is feeling. How are we good? Not just you, are we good? Because it is you're two people in the relationship. There's something that is not working. Is there something that you think could work even better? Is there something? It's like introducing things into a relationship. You can't just bring in something into a relationship and expect the other person to jump on board. Have that conversation. Again, communication. Because if you don't communicate, you're not going to know what your partner wants. You're not going to know what your partner needs. And then then you're arguing all the time. And then people really go like, why am I always arguing? We never see eye to eye anymore. Do you talk? No. That's what I get. And I'm like, if you don't talk, hey.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen to me though.
Okay. So you brought up something about vulnerability earlier, and I want to come back to that, because I was asking you about, exploring the vulnerabilities that men have, and sometimes they find it difficult to share for the, out of fear. One, because of masculinity comes with comes with I wouldn't say a price, but a responsibility, right? Or a certain way of being, or at least that's our perceptions, right? So there's certain types of men. One thing that we generally have in common as heterosexual men is that it's not always easy to be vulnerable, right? Because it's seen as a weakness, and we're modeled on strength, right? We're modeled on weakness. That's how we're socialized, right? That's how we're socialized. What about vulnerabilities with women though? Because I'm hearing that I'm hearing on the wire that some of these women today, they're a little bit hard, and they don't know how to there's a lot of masculine women about. There's a lot of I don't need no man and I'm tough, and everything is modeled on, or often things is modeled on like a competitiveness. I have this qualification, or I'm on this kind of income, or I don't need no, and that kind of, I don't know, it's a bit of an issue starting out a relationship, because it's like there's two bulls in the pen.
But if a woman is stating that she doesn't need a man, then there is no relationship, right?
When I'm talking, these could even be married women. I'm talking about even married, like they're so tough, or they're so strong, or they're so don't need.
To take away their partners, and then who are they? Who want a man? Because the next minute they're single and they're complaining that they want a man.
Maybe this is just bravado then. Maybe this is just like people in general find it difficult. At least in modern times, people find it hard to be like, we're kind of sold this thing of everybody's independent, as opposed to interdependent.
A lot of women are independent women, and they can do things by themselves. However, they like to have a man by their side. There's that. Like, there are a lot of women out there who are independent. They can get their own money. They pay their own bills. They can cook. They can clean. They can do absolutely anything.
But this is a generational thing, though. Because
however, can they hug themselves? Do you see what I mean? Have they got penises? Like, no. So they want this. They need the man for something.
Is that all? Is it
love? They want comfort. They want a friendship. They want quite a few things. But like I said,
all right.
They want, they're vulnerable to a certain level. But if you've been hurt, if a woman's been hurt many times, she will have her guard up.
That makes sense. That's how I understand it. That it's more a defense mechanism as opposed, because that's not a natural way of being. That's not something that I hear from all the women from any culture can exhibit that kind of language, right? But that's quite dominant in certain cultures, definitely in the black diaspora, right? This thing of I don't need a man and I don't need, that's it's not really normal, but you're right, it's coming out of a place of hurt and self-defense and out of fear. It's not really the way, although there is this thing about there's a kind of a shift, I think, that seems like it's taking place where women are acknowledging that and say, you know what, I can't manage. Like, I do need that support. I can't raise this child by myself, or it's extremely difficult. I'm burnt out. Like they're actually like owning their vulnerabilities, because I know it's a generational thing, but I'm thinking of the elders that came to the UK from, for example, like the Caribbean. These women weren't no rollover women where men bossed them about, but at the same time, there was a kind of femininity about them, and they were working women. They had careers, but they had children, they had families, they were wives, but they had a bit of a balance. I don't know if it's around the 1980s. There came a next generation of, I don't know, it was just different. Something shift. There was a shift in the culture, and this don't need a man talk started to like really pick up.
Maybe they've seen things in the home where their mother was working how many jobs and looking after them. The dad was working, but that's all he was doing. There's that. What you see is what your mirror. Do you see what I mean?
Talk to me.
So now you don't want to see anything. Basically, now you've seen something different. It's not about watching struggling in a relationship anymore. It's not about going and doing 3 jobs and the man and looking after the kids and doing everything by yourself, even though you have a man there. Maybe people have seen that and then thought to themselves, well, I'm not going to struggle like that if the man's there. He can do something. So, yes, I'll work and I'll do everything, but there's no way I'm going to do all of that. And then there's some single parents who are doing everything. So they think, what the hell do I need a man for? I'm actually doing this. However, they do like the break and might give the child to family members for a night or two just to get that me time.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm worried about. I am worried about, or my concern is, right? Because I hear what you're saying, and I think what you're saying is very relevant. But what my concern is that I know in again, I'm talking about our community just for a moment, right? Um, there's a lot of homes where there are moms by themselves, yeah, and that's cool. As I'm sorry, there's a lot of women by themselves, or men and women are single, and that's cool. People do what they do, but once children are involved, it's a little bit different. And if we look at the socio political landscape and some of the expectancy for black boys in particular, the way that some of our girls are being raised and attitudes that are being exhibited in the community, some of this, I don't need a man and women are all X. So I'm going to call out both parties on their biases here. I don't think it's really helping the next generation, though. I think it's cool saying that, but there's a price when you put stuff out in the universe. There's a kind of a spiritual price that we're paying for that.
You can say these things, but it's the way you say it. So you can say, I don't need a man, however, I would like one. You've just changed it around then. You're not saying you need one, but you would like one, because they will take the pressure off X, Y, and Z. So when your kids are growing up and they're seeing you're in a single home, in one parent home, they can kind of relate to that and be like, my mum always used to say, I don't need a man, but it'd be nice to have one in the house. It'd be nice to have one in my life to share certain things with. They'll grow up with that mentality of just not saying they just don't want one, they don't need one, they can do this all that by themselves, with the mentality of actually, I would like a partner because my mum didn't have one and I want one to help me do, or I want them to help me grow, or do you know what I mean? There's some certain things you'll need a man for. There's certain reasons why people want to be in a relationship. There are people who are in relationships and then break up and then 2 minutes are in the next relationship. Those people can't be alone. Just mean they cannot seem to be alone by themselves and give themselves that moment to breathe. Or there's other people that have been in relationships for years and then they break up and they just don't want no relationship for a while. They just want to do them for a bit. There's different aspects of why people say, I don't need a man or I don't want a man. It's not just, I don't want one, I don't need it. Because then they go out one night, they see a man, oh, he's nice, next week they're in a relationship. I thought he didn't need one.
I think that people have got their own histories, right? Individuals have histories, and
their own personal traumas,
relationships. It comes with, if not emotional mileage on the clock, right? But it comes with, like you said, traumas. In all seriousness, and sometimes people carry those negative experiences from the past and bring it into the new relationship. Both men and women are capable of that, and I think that. Well, I guess what I would like to see. My hope is that we can have a kind of peace treaty or a peace conference or some kind of healing, right, between men and women in the community, where we can discuss these issues on bigger platforms, right, and get people involved. But we're not going to weaponize, because oftentimes we have these kind of conversations.
Yeah, no, I mean it's literally getting people's
sometimes bring their issues and they start spewing out. And people need to spew out. So we need to create safe spaces for people to spew out. But then we need to create different spaces where we're coming up with like a kind of solutions. Do you know what I mean? Or better ways of going forward. Do you know what I mean? Things that we need
let's not stay in the problem. Let's find solutions for it, because staying in the problem isn't going to solve anything.
The problem, that's not going to help anybody. Do you know what I mean?
We're all about solutions here, because, why don't you want a man? What's happened? Why you think you don't need one? There's certain things that...
Why do you think you need to say that? Or, is that not implicit when many other people? What's the context of that? Because, so...
What's not needing a man look like? That kind of thing.
When you say that, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What inspired you to say that? How does that play out?
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. So there's lots of questions to follow.
There is lots of questions. That's a next topic. that's a next.
To be honest with you, that's a PhD in itself. You know what I mean? But that's a topic that's a study in itself.
When people start talking about why they don't, that's a whole different conversation. Did you get to know why that is so flippant out of most women's mouths? And some men are the same as well. I don't need no woman.
Yeah, and passing it on to the next generation is one thing. Say that
Men don't need
you've
a
been
woman,
through the
though.
mill. Imagine this: you've been through the mill, yeah. You've had your time, you've had your shot, right? And you've been through whatever. So you've got your cynical attitude. Just say, for example, generically, the man or the woman. It's one thing you having that for yourself, but it's another thing when you hear somebody else young, you say, "Oh, he's gonna get married." You know, he's just what married? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, you know what them man are like? You think you can trust me? Like, why are you gonna like put that on the? You have to be careful with the words that you're putting out in the atmosphere.
It's the
don't sully the young. Don't sully the young people. Do you know what I mean? Don't have to.
No, let them live a little. Let them
have their own. Yeah, let them have their own success or heartbreak or whatever it's going to be. You can give them a little bit of counsel, but don't taint them, innit? Don't taint them.
Yeah, that it's unnecessary, really. Because when I hear that, I cringe. I'm thinking, oh God, like what happened to you? That's what makes me want to. What happened? Like why? Oh, you don't want it. So I don't know what's happened here, but something's happened. But then there's men as well that say they don't want to be in a relationship. They don't.
There's both. There's both.
They don't want a woman. Why do they not want a woman? Most men don't need a woman because they've got things that satisfy them what women would, their own personal would give them. So why sit down and have a relationship when you can get that stuff for free? That's the next conversation on its own.
That's the next conversation. Well, you know what? We're coming towards the end of the show. I want to mention two things before we close. And one of them is about, I guess, to summarize in terms of communication, something that people can look up. It's definitely the love language. If you're in a relationship, or if you're planning on getting married, or you're just single and you're just doing the bachelor thing or bachelorette thing by yourself, if you haven't come across it, check out the love language online. I'm not getting commission, but I think it's a super test. It's free. Yes. As well, people like to hear that. When you hear free, right, and it's about emotions.
Everyone jumps for it. Free. Right? I'm gonna do it.
Exactly. People are gonna just Google at one time. You know what I mean? The love language will tell you about the different modes of communication in terms of not the verbal communication, but like in terms of, you know, like acts of loyalty, touch, gifts, words of kindness, or you know what I mean, like different. There's a 5 aspects to it in terms of when you do these things for your significant other. For example, if you know what their particular love language is, you'll get a good investment on your return in a sense.
Yes.
Because you might be buying gifts because you think that person's love language is gifts, but really it's quality time, for example. So you'd be better off not doing it overtime to buy the gift, but actually taking it the afternoon off and going on and spending the time with a significant other. And that, you know what I mean? That would be a better investment. So it's
that's a good investment. Yeah, that's a good investment. Trust me, it's a good investment.
So there is that. That's what I want to mention. Closing down, but also that you have I've got your business card here in front of me.
Yeah.
You have an extraordinary, unique sideline. So I don't know if I want to just give you a moment to say about what it is that you do as your sideline, because we may talk about that in a bit more detail at another point.
Yes, we will, because that's another topic on its own, isn't it? Well, for me, I run an online intimacy and sex toy business. So basically, what that is I help people get more in touch, well, couples and single people get more in touch with their feminine side, and well, not their feminine side, their intimacy side. So, is it
for women? Is it for women?
The sex toys that I sell sex toys. So the sex toys that I have are both for men and women, and it's for couples as well. So it's not just it's for women. It's because a lot of men say there's nothing out there for me. There are plenty of things out there for men. They just don't know about it.
There's some people now that are freaked out when they hear the word sex toy. They'll have their own imagination about it, and some of those may cross the threshold for them in terms of their beliefs, their principles, whatever. But we haven't gone into any detail, so but anyway, please continue. I just wanted to put that out there. So some people might be getting palpitations right now.
Seriously, I'm. Being an intimacy coach is fun. I host parties. Before the whole lockdown thing, we were doing parties. I was doing.
You're like the Tupperware lady or the Avon lady, yeah?
Yeah, but my Tupperware is a lot different than what mine comes with USBs.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I have this mobile toy business, and literally I go around and I share what's out there for everybody. And ladies, I have host parties for ladies at the minute, and ladies enjoy and see what's out there for them, because some people don't have sex toys, some people do, some people are well advanced, some people are not, and they're like, oh, what's this? And then you get to tell them, and they're like, oh, let me try it. A lot of ladies are single out there, and these are like little substitutes for them. And then there's like guys, you'll get ladies phoning their guys saying, babe, like this, and what should I do? And, you know, it's nice because then they're also bringing in their partners. So they're not just coming home with a toy and saying this, and the men feels out of place. It's something that I've got things for both of you to use. It's not just like a man use it or a woman use it. There are things that are certainly just for men, and men can use it on their own. However, women can assist them with it. So there's a lot of things going on there. With the intimacy and coaching side of things, that is a huge area, which it excites me, because it just
really, I can see you smiling.
it excites me because it gets couples to get more in touch with each other. Like, if you've been in for a very long time and, you know, sex is getting a little bit, you know, oh God, like, there are different things to spice it up. And I find a lot of people that are in relationships for a very long time get complacent with each other, and sex then becomes boring, some people say. And I'm like, how is it boring? Like, and they're set in their ways. So literally, without being crude, you know, your man's going to come and he's going to kiss your neck, and and it's all regimented, whatever, it's going to step by step.
Scripted.
Yeah, and it's just like, like, I know what's coming next, so what's the point? You know, it's going to last for this amount. It's like they really shut it down. So my thing is, I bring spice into the bedroom.
Okay, so some spontaneity, some spice. Yeah. All right, I hear that. Yeah. I hear that. Sex and intimacy. Well, sex is like food in the sense that people have appetite. Some people's appetite is more considerable than others. Some people have an unhealthy relationship with food. For example, they're obese because they've got food addiction.
And some people
they use food to monitor. They use food to kind of regulate their emotions. And some people, it's the same with sex, right? Mm-hmm. I guess what I'm intrigued to find out, and I hope that we can have that discussion, is because I know that you make a good point. You make a good case in terms of people in long-term committed marriage relationships. They're going to maybe benefit from certain things that spice up and create different aspects. Because that's a whole part of, a very significant part of the union, right? But as a student of psychotherapy, I got my concerns about toys that people use on themselves. But I want to have the conversation. I don't want nothing to be off the table, if that makes sense. While I might have certain views based on morality, psychology, philosophy, that's all good and well, but I still want to talk about it nonetheless and let people choose for themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I am, at heart, I'm what they call existentialist. I believe in people's choice. People do what they do, but
I love it. I love people's choice.
Put the information out there.
I love it.
And the people
you must have choice. You must own your own selves. Like, you know, you must be in control of what you actually want. You must be in control of your happiness, whatever you want. You have to live your best life. Life is way too short not to.
My motto is, the ticket's on the train's only going one way. You don't terminate at the other end and then turn back round again. That's it. It's a one-way ticket. So
and whatever brings you pleasure, I'm here to supply that.
All right. On that note, girlfriend,
no, not in that sense. Oh God. No, not in that sense. Oh God.
No, I just, you know me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know me.
But listen, the time has gone so quick. And
it has. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been insightful. And I do look forward to that conversation. And thank you again for spending your time this afternoon. We had a chance to chop it up.
No, it was fun.
And hope to see you for the sequel with the intimacy coach.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Take care.
Stay with us for the duration of It Takes Two. We'll catch you next time. Peace.